Good afternoon, folks. Today we're going to be putting this rib roast on the rotisserie. It's about 2.5 pounds. So we're going to get started with a rub. First, we're going to take 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, 2 teaspoons of black pepper, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. Get it all in. 2 pinches of red pepper flakes. That could be less or more depending on how spicy you like stuff. 2 teaspoons of oregano, dried. And 2 pinches of chili powder, again more or less depending on how you like it. Mix these ingredients together with your fingers. Always good to use your fingers because if you use a spoon you'll end up getting lumps and uneven rub, which you don't want. Get it all in. Give it a taste to make sure it's right. That's dead on. Alright, now we have to tie up the rib roast so it cooks evenly on the rotisserie until it spins evenly.
When this is done, be sure to rub the meat with the rub we just made, being sure to coat all sides with a thick layer. Rubbing ensures the spices will stick to the meat. Tying ensures the meat will spin evenly on the spit. Use 5 or 6 pieces of cooking twine and then a reliable knot. Cooking twine is important because some materials will melt and or catch fire.
Hi, today we're using the grill out on my back deck. It is a Charbroil Red. It's an infrared grill. It's a lot different than most things you would have heard of. On the front we have a side burner with 3 burners going across. This, if you can't read it, just says cooking temperatures. It's a nice feature to have. When you open it up, if you want to raise the camera up, see on the inside there's 2 separate pans. Underneath the first pan there are 2 horizontal burners connected to each other. These heat the pan, which radiate heat up into the grill grate, which we have set aside right now because we are rotisserie cooking. There's another pan here which allows you to have a different temperature setting for things, let's say if you were searing a steak. Very heavy cover, vents in the back. We have a rotisserie motor set up here with an extension cord connected to the house. We also have another bracket here to accept the rotisserie that we are putting on later. That's the grill. Now we're going to move on. I'm going to show you how to set up the spit.
All you need to know here, folks, is that red and yellow bell peppers taste the same, and it's good to cut pilot holes in your veggies using a paring knife. And oh yeah, always tighten your crumbs.
Hi folks, we're going to put this on the rotisserie. Simply take the pointed end, into the rotisserie motor, drop this end down, make sure it's solid, you have to make any adjustments, now is the time to do so. That handle was rubbing, so we don't want that to happen. Make sure everything's good and tight. Finally, we're going to do a little bit of seasoning on the vegetables last minute.
Well, I have a sec. Let me tell you that the brackets were somehow bent over the winter.
Turn the rotisserie on.
Spending a half hour later trying to fix them.
Take some extra virgin olive oil.
This is why the spit appears uneven.
Drizzle it on your vegetables. Just the vegetables, folks. The meat will catch fire. And salt and pepper. I know the vegetables aren't exactly turning even, but it's not going to be a big deal. Remember, the star of the show is the meat.
Unless you're a vegetarian, in which case, disregard that.
Alright folks, one final note about this. This grill has a rotisserie setting. All its burners are on the lowest. If you had a 4-burner gas grill, you'd want to light the 2 outside burners only. It's a lot different than this infrared style grill. If you had a 3-burner grill, 3 burners going across, you'd want to light the burners here and the burner way in the back. If you had a gas grill with a rotisserie burner, which is usually made out of chromatic, use that. And that's about it. We're going to close the grill. We're not going to touch it. We're going to check it every 30 minutes for about 2 hours, at which point we'll start checking it every 15 minutes. Thanks.
At this point in the movie, I started to use a different camera because my old one had run out of battery. This camera didn't record the audio for one reason or another, so I'll be talking you through the rest of the film. Here I was checking the meat when I realized the peppers were beginning to fall off the spit. So I pulled them off with some tongs and set them aside for later use. This is shown at 5 times the speed, so you don't get too bored. Here I'm shown checking the meat. It had been cooking for about 2.5 hours and the thermometer reads about 155. Try to ignore my hand gestures. I was trying to show an elaboration on what's called the poke test. If you want, I can show you later in class. I'm shown here wearing an oven mitt. I don't recommend this unless you're like me and lost your fireproof grill glove. When I took the mitt off, I learned I had burned through it. The meat is done, so I'm taking it inside. Here, I've removed everything from the spit and placed the beef on a cutting board. I am shown cutting off the strings with some scissors. The main point here is to let a roast this size rest for about 20 minutes. This allows the meat to relax and retain its juices so you don't lose all the flavor when you slice the meat. While I was waiting, I reheated the peppers and chopped them, along with the onions, and placed them into a bowl. Mixed them with salt, pepper, and a little lemon juice, and then set it aside. Here, I've sliced the meat with a sharp chef's knife and fanned it out in a serving dish. Then I spooned the vegetables over the meat. The meat is shown cooked to well done. I admit, I was going for medium rare, but I went swimming and neglected to check the meat. Regardless, it tasted great. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember that barbecue is an art, not a science, so don't think too hard. See you later.